I just like DM like I think it was 2 or 3 different producers and directors and said, listen, can I please be on your set? I'll work hard and I won't like you don't have to pay me anything. And like for all 3, I got to be on those sets and I learned so much. I even managed to become like an AD on the one.
Just maybe instead of thinking about you want that pop song, maybe a friend's band or something, and then you guys can work together.
And I've seen this, because I'm the sound guy, so I've seen this everywhere I go. As soon as there's a boom, like people can see, oh, you're doing a movie? Oh, this is a movie? You're recording sound? You're going to take another take. Good luck. Hi, I'm Yaku.
And I'm Mark.
And I'm Kalen.
And welcome back to Department Spotlight. It's the show where we speak to our friends and colleagues about their experiences in the film industry. Today, again, no friends, but we are colleagues. So
I feel like we're friends.
No,
I'm
we're
joking.
not friends.
I'm joking.
Well, we were, now we are.
Me and Mark are friends. There's just a colleague over here.
Today we'll be answering questions on Reddit, r/filmmakers. So we're really excited to get into it, see what everybody around the world wants to know about filmmaking, and maybe, just maybe, we can add something to the conversation. So let's get into it.
Okay, so we have a question here from sick username. That's their name. It's how to produce a short with script written. I wrote a script for a short. I would love to make it, but I did not go to film school. I have almost no connections. Are people in the industry receptive to direct messages on Instagram, Twitter, etc.? I've envisioned directing this, but wonder if it would be smarter to try find someone with directing experience and watch them work with my script in order to gain some insight into the process. Is that dumb? Should I just go for it myself? Are any of you working directors as insecure and neurotic as me?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. I think to answer that last part, is any other director as neurotic and insecure as this person is? Yes.
Yeah,
All the time.
99.999%.
But in terms of the rest of the question, from my side, I think I don't like we've received a couple of DMs with like, oh, here's a script, and we're like, cool. What do you want to do with that? And they're like, can you make it? And I'm like, I mean, are you gonna pay for it, or are we just gonna take all of the risk? And that sounds harsh, but I think that's sort of what you want to think about. If you're expecting someone else to make your script, are you going to pay for it? Or are you going to be involved in the process? Or are you literally just sending it and hoping that somebody makes it? Because some of the DMs that we've gotten is from America, and like sending your script to these guys in South Africa who make shorts. And it's like, it's not really culturally the same. So it would be difficult to produce an American script here without any Americans. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But also, like, I think also just in that kind of context, I think also just the people that you're sending it to, like, obviously we're not that kind of established company yet where we're just like taking it and saying, okay, let's take the risk. I think obviously those are for more like pretty established production houses and stuff that would do that. And even then it's quite risky, but I mean, I think the best thing is maybe sending it to those writing competitions and stuff like that, and hopefully it gets recognized through that way. I think it's a bit hard to just send scripts out to people. I mean, kudos to people's perseverance when they do stuff like that. I mean, I think David Esquire did something similar where he just called, I think it was like a writing house nonstop, and kept sending his script every day, but it was like for a long time. And I think I was also just back in the day in like the early 90s or like late 80s where you could do something like that. I think now, I think the safest way is maybe send it, if you do want to get it made, rather just send it to the competitions and try and get it recognized, and then you can see if it's worth the time. If other people really like it, you can see the value of it. And then personally, in terms of just messaging directors and stuff, you can, I think, message them for advice and stuff. I think more like indie directors and stuff like that sometimes might respond. I've had twice where I've had people on Instagram respond, but I don't think necessarily send a script, just maybe just one line of advice, I think.
That's good. I think if you're asking for advice, look, everybody, like, I'm always keen to just chat or whatever, but not that I'm any kind of established director. But I'm just talking in terms of like the kind of DMs that we've gotten. If you need advice or something, I think that's a good idea. Like Helen said, some people have replied to him. But yeah, I think like don't have expectations that people are just going to make something that you wrote just because you're sending it to them.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think the sending it to writing competitions is a good idea, but make sure they're the right ones. But if you're, it sounds like this person they haven't directed anything before, obviously, and they've just written a short screenplay, and they're nervous about directing it. Just do it. Don't because if it's your first, it's gonna be bad. As we've said before. So you've got to just keep on doing it until it's good. If it's one of your first screenplays you've written, it's bad. So you just keep on, and we know this. We know when we start out writing, you're like, this is bad. It'll get better. I think you've got to just do it. Everyone's insecure. Everyone's neurotic. Even people who work on multi-million-dollar films, you always hear in interviews that they're really nervous about starting on day one. It's a universal thing. It'll never stop. So just realize that everyone else goes through it. And I think they'll sort of put your mind at ease because it's you aren't like alone in that. And yeah, I'd say just keep doing it and keep doing it and keep making stuff. If your script is quite big in scope, then just select a small section of that you'll be able to produce with just a few friends, just for practice. And then also what's nice about that is with stuff we've done in the past that's like a longer script and we've done just a small section of it, is you kind of you're able to say to yourself, if this doesn't become anything more, at least I've done a little bit of it, you know what I mean? Or I've like had an attempt at it. And they said that they don't know anyone in the film industry. I think just reach out. There's Facebook groups, there's Reddit, but also just try and get onto sets and be like, a PA or something, and then you'll make connections, and then you'll meet some people who are like super keen to just like shoot something over the weekend, I think, and then build it up that way. You might even find a producer to send your script to, and then they'll be like super keen. So yeah,
I was gonna say the same thing with like maybe don't immediately just make your own thing. Maybe you can get onto others' sets first, because I think it's a lot like if people reach out to us and they're like, oh, we wanna work on your next project, is that okay? Then obviously we do a little bit of research, see if they are reliable people, and then if we agree, then obviously I think that's a good thing, because then you get on set. Don't expect to be paid if you're asking to be there, but you're on set and you gaining a little bit of more experience, and then eventually you can see what the director's doing, because you mentioned that maybe somebody else should direct it, but then you get that experience by seeing what the other directors are doing until you think you're ready to make it yourself.
Yeah, like I wouldn't like advocate like always just doing things for free, but in the beginning I think it is a smart move. I remember when I was still like in college, or when like I took like a gap year kind of thing, I just like DM'd like I think it was 2 different or 3 different producers and directors and said, listen, can I please be on your set? I'll work hard and I won't like, you don't have to pay me anything. And like for all 3 I got out to be on those sets, and I learned so much. I even managed to become like an AD on the one, and I had 0 experience. When I was like with all these big actors and stuff, but like my main goal was just watching the director, and like you see the mistakes they make, you see their insecurities, especially when you're like an AD, then like, or like in that department, you can hear directly from the director how scared they are about certain scenes and stuff. So yeah, I think try and reach out, try and do some stuff for free, and then eventually you can find some like-minded people to help you out. And who knows, sometimes the first script isn't so bad when you shoot your first time. Look at Taika Waititi with his first short that won like an Oscar. So
yeah, but we've said this before. He was making art
wasn't
stuff.
his first stuff.
Like it might have been the first like film that he directed and wrote, but it's not like the first writing that he'd ever done. It's not the first art that he's ever done. He was an artist.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, like, as a joke.
He was also 36, so it's like
You don't know how old this guy is.
That's true. That's true.
This is posted by Kafka123. This is an interesting question because I personally had a lot of experiences recently on a set we all worked on. This might be posted already, but maybe not. What are the worst experiences you've had with members of the public on location disrupting a low-budget set E.g., ones where you don't have a Hollywood level security detail. Yeah, so I think that's a really cool question. That's super relatable. I think to anybody that's made a short, like on a low budget, that's yeah. So the question was bad experiences. So we've had like a couple of bad experiences, but I think you learn from them as well. So we recently shot something. I don't know if we could talk about it, but like we recently shot something, and the location was this area in Johannesburg or in like Gauteng called Hartbeespoort, and it's like this massive dam, and there's a lot of people that go there to visit it on like the holiday times and stuff. And we went to film on like it was Sunday, right? We went to film on a Sunday, and I didn't know that that's when a lot of the drivers in the area go and take their vehicles out on a route and motorbike people, and we shot right next to the road. So I was the AD.
Assistant director.
The assistant director. Mark was directing it. Yaku had to deal with all the terrible sound. I had to technically make you happy with that.
Yeah, I had the worst experience. But Caden was on the front line.
Literally. So yeah, I had to like try and stop people that were taking their motorbikes out and like say, please calm down. And then like, I don't know if this meant to them, please speed up and make louder. Because then they just go, vrrrpa, like right past the thing. It's a nice soundbite for the podcast there. So yeah, it was like really intense. So yeah, there was this one car that as I literally said like, please keep it down. I don't know how coincidental this was, but as they came past, they turned up the car and then the song playing, turn down for what? Played literally as I went past, and I was like, I couldn't even be mad. I was like, that's so funny.
I think we were like in the middle of a take and everybody was just like, okay, well, we've got to acknowledge this awesome thing.
I think that's a good point you made at the end there when you said, I know it's just a joke, when you said I couldn't even get mad, but when you're in those kinds of circumstances, when you don't have a lot of security, it's like low budget and stuff, and then there's people that walk by, and some of them will be really nice, some of them will see this whole construct and decide to like make a noise, and there's some people that intentionally hooted when you said keep quiet. And I think the way to like respond to that is just to be nice, because if you be nice to someone being rude, they'll feel bad. Because if you get mad, people get confrontational and just ruin everything. So I think you just have to respond really nicely. Yeah.
I think for me that was kind of hard though, because as soon as they like made the noise, I couldn't even respond in time because they were already gone. I would just be like us in the rearview mirror, like.
Yeah.
So
I think people have this like opposite effect. I don't know where it comes from. I think maybe it's like a South African thing. That area is very Afrikaans. So it's like when you see like just to be funny, you're just like ruining things to be funny.
I think it's just a people thing.
Yeah. So then especially like, and I've seen this because I'm the sound guy. So I've seen this everywhere I go. As soon as there's a boom, like people can see, oh, you're doing a movie? Oh, this is a movie? You're recording sound? You're going to take another take. Good luck. So yeah, I think that's something you have to deal with. And then luckily, you can do this wonderful thing called ADR, which is where you just record the sound later anyways. So, yeah.
Yeah. But it's so interesting because like when you said that thing, like people see, because I remember one guy, I don't know if he's from the film industry or something, but he drove past and he literally screamed, quiet on set. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, it was pretty intense. But I guess on the security front of it, we were fine. Like we had like some security there on the day, but
we had a security person at base camp because it was too small on the dam where we were shooting. So at base camp where like all the boxes and everything was, we had a security guy stationed there just to make sure that.
And there was some like conflict there because there were people selling, I think, some stuff there, or I can't remember what the fight was, but there was
a car guard already there, and then he was fighting with the private security that we got,
saying we're taking business from him and stuff. Which, yeah, I guess I understand where he was coming from and stuff like that. But you're gonna have, I guess, issues like that. But yeah, we've been on many sets where we haven't had any security and stuff like that, and I think we've spoken about this before. In South Africa it's kind of tough, so it's like in South Africa in particular, like it's also good to maybe, if there is a little bit of budget, put to security. But yeah, usually just try and write for a safe place if you can't really, because like safety first before anything else. So yeah.
An experience I had recently, I don't know if it wasn't a bad experience, but it was kind of noteworthy. When we were shooting one of the ads, we went to the street to we're shooting in the car. And we were driving up and down because obviously we had to reset and do like take after take. And this lady came out of her house and was like what's going on? We did have security. They were actually in one of the cars I was driving behind the car that was shooting. I went up to her because she was just standing on the side of the street. Like every time she was like, what's going on? What happened was that we were obviously driving, and then her daughter came into the house with the car, and they thought that we were following her. And I said, no, I explained the whole thing, that we're shooting an ad and we're just having to retake and driving up and down. And then she said, oh, okay, no worries then. Just like, you probably should have just let the community like WhatsApp group know, because apparently everyone was going off on the WhatsApp group about what are these cars going up and down. So that wasn't necessarily a bad experience, but I think it's like a teachable moment where you kind of have to think like a few steps ahead and just let everyone know like what you're doing, because you might think that it's not a weird thing, but if people recording and doing weird things is kind of abnormal for everyone else. So you kind of have to just think about that and think about like communities.
Yeah, I think
what you're going into.
It also happened in another shoot that we did. It was super low budget, and we just like shooting like a running chase scene thing.
Oh, I thought you were talking about.
No, we're talking about
exact same incident.
You went, it was one of the ads that we shot. But it's the same kind of thing. But also, I think in both scenarios, the location changed. Like we weren't gonna shoot in those locations, but even so, as soon as you decide we're gonna shoot in this location, you should just, I don't know, ring somebody's like doorbell and just be like, hey, with this crew, we're making a thing. Could you maybe just let everybody know? Are you on a WhatsApp group or whatever? If they're not, then okay, let's go to the next house. But I mean, that's like the producer. The producer needs to do that. Yeah.
I remember also for that like thing we shot as well, that like proof of concept for my film kind of thing. I also, just to be sure, like I went, because there was a police station right across the road, so I just also made sure to like let them know. And also like getting permits isn't like that like hard to do.
Yes, it is. Don't say that. Permits are the hardest thing to do.
If
you've got no budget, permits are the hardest thing to get.
Well, I just made sure the police knew I was there. So like, I like a couple of days before, like I said, like every day I went up there, I'm like, don't forget I'm gonna be here and stuff like that. Because that was also because we had a gun on set and stuff like that, like a fake gun, a toy gun, and so we just wanted to let them know. Like, obviously, if you're like across the road from a police station with a toy gun, you want to let them know. At an ATM, exactly. You want to let them in the middle of the night. You want to let them know. I think in those cases, or like at least let the businesses around the area know what's happening, because it might cause quite a bit of an incident and have some signs up and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the next question comes from Smonag1.
Smonag.
And the question is, indie feature film music licensing. Has anybody successfully acquired a hit song for the indie feature at a modest price? What was the process you took, and do you have any tips for achieving this? Okay, cool. So we've acquired a semi-hit song for a short film that we did, but I think we're not going to just be talking about that, because I think there's a lot of nuance that goes into acquiring music licensing. But for the song that we used in our short film, we basically just, the South African music industry isn't that huge, especially the Afrikaans industry. There's like a couple of distributors or whatever. So you just check who published the song, who wrote the song, and who was the producer of the song. And for this one, it was sort of like the producer and the like writer, they were all the same people, and then they had a distributor. So we spoke to the distributor, who then forwarded us to a different thing, and then we just explained it's a short film and we want to use it, and then they actually gave us the license for free for 2 years. So we had like worldwide rights for 2 years, and they gave it to us for free at that stage. What helped us in that scenario as well is that one of the performers of the songs is also a filmmaker. So he was like really keen on just helping out short films or whatever. So he's like, yeah, you can do the thing. And then
That was his exact word.
yeah, just do the thing. So that helped a lot, and then we used it, and it was a great process. Now we might have just gotten lucky,
I think, yeah.
probably, and I know for a fact that American music distribution is super difficult, especially if you're talking about a hit song. Like if you're gonna get an
Ariana.
like if you're gonna get an I can do this. Like if you're gonna get an Ariana Grande song, you're gonna pay a lot.
Yeah, they're gonna look at you and they're gonna be like, "Thank you, next."
Exactly.
We're gonna get copyright struck for that. But on that whole Hollywood like American music thing, I remember on the set where I was on, where they had like a massive budget. They also like quite a process that like they had a song that they wanted to use, but then they couldn't get it because there was like too much money, and then eventually they petitioned for a Backstreet Boys song. And then they gave them like a couple of million, I can't remember. And then they got back to them and said, "Okay, cool, you guys can use 20 seconds of our song." And I was like, "Whoa, that's intense." So yeah, I know like overseas and like especially in the States, it can be quite hard. But I mean, there's alternatives to that.
Yeah, you could always. So speaking about the alternatives, you could get a composer, or you can get a small band. So for one of the other films that I made back in film school. The director wrote a specific song into the script, and we tried to get the song. I can't remember what the song was.
African.
Yeah, it was. No, it was an American song. I can't remember what the song was, but we didn't get it. It was like Pipe Dreams. But then what we did was we had a young up and coming musician who was also studying with us, and he's actually pretty big now.
He's amazing.
But he wrote a couple of songs that sort of sounded similar to that, and then we recorded it, and it was like cool because it was similar to the vibe that the song that was written for, but it was also like more South African. It was more specific to the story. So that's something that we can talk about, getting a composer, because they're writing something specifically for the story, for the shots, which is really cool. It always works better.
So also just to speak about licensing like big music, it reminded me of even with Baby Driver, which is like entirely music driven, and he had the songs like literally embedded into the PDF of the script that you would play and you would read at the same time. So it was like very heavily like needs to be this. And even with Edgar Wright, there were some songs that he couldn't get and had to change.
Oh wow.
So I it may be difficult to hear because you want to get that song in your film, but perhaps just don't.
Unless you are Ariana Grande, then it's fine.
Maybe just don't think about the potential of getting that song. Obviously, with us, when we heard the song for a short film that Jaco was talking about, we knew that there was a possibility because the industry is small and we have the ability to just reach out. So if you do have that ability to reach out, if you have that contact, definitely do. But then also just maybe instead of thinking about you want that pop song, as you were saying, maybe a friend's band or something, and then you guys can work together. And I think that's even more beneficial because you're getting the pop song to make your film more popular, but in this way you can use your film to get your friend's band more popular.
Yeah.
Which is kind of better because you don't have to make a pop star more popular.
And even
It's
also
the whole
like
thing.
like a third option or something like, but also if you're like pretty competent with music as well. I mean, look at like with the Neistats, when they did the Neistat brothers did that HBO show, like the brother was making all the music himself. Well, most of it, Van was doing most of it himself. Like I think, and that creativity of like trying to find a different way to do it can also sometimes give them like the whatever piece of content you're making, give it a different flavor as well. So
yeah. Another option, which I think is like an amazing option that we've been using for everything, is Artlist. Artlist.io Now, we're not sponsored. We didn't have...
We'd like to be.
We'd like to be. We don't have enough views or enough subscribers to be sponsored, but we can give you an affiliate link. Let me just speak about Artlist first. It's basically you pay $200 a year, and then you get access to a massive library of stock music that don't suck.
And sound effects.
Yeah. Well, no, sound effects you pay extra.
Strike that from the record.
So you get like so many songs that you can use for anything. You can use it on your YouTube channel. You can use it on Facebook. But then the really cool thing is you can use it on TV ads. You can use it for any kind of commercial use. So even if you like, a production company and you're working on other things, it's the same license that lets you use it on YouTube, that lets you use it on TV. So that's really cool. There are other music options out there. I'm sure you've heard about them. It's Epidemic Sound, Music Bed, all these places. But with all of those, there's like a different license that you get for commercial use, which is a little bit more expensive, which, I mean, that's fine. I mean, they've got great music as well. But Artlist is the one that we use. It's really, really cool. They've started like a streaming thing. So you can go to Artlist Music or Artlist Stream. I don't know what it is. We'll put it in the description. And then they have like 3 live streams of their music just playing constantly. And then as the new song comes up, it gives you a link so you can like go and download it if you like what you're hearing.
It's pretty dope.
And there's also the reason why we prefer Artlist over the others is, as you said, there's like less barriers. You know what I mean? Like Music Bed is good, but then you have to get, if you're doing like a different type of project. So Artlist is just the easiest. And also that the music is obviously very good as well. But, you always want something where there's just less hassle. And it seems like they always, whenever they update, it's always to make things have like less hassle for you, which is really nice.
Yeah. Hashtag please sponsor.
Yeah, please sponsor. Right, so if you sign up with our link down in the description to Artlist, you get 2 months for free. And we also get a month. So full disclosure, please do that. It's a really good service. We've been using it for years. So but I think that's a good place to end this episode.
And that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. We had a lot of fun answering those questions. Not like they were directed at us, but we had a lot of fun nonetheless. And if you enjoyed watching this video and you're new to the channel, firstly, subscribe. Go down there, subscribe. Click the bell notification. And once you do that, go back, look at all the other videos we've made. We made a lot of videos like this. They're all funny. They're all interesting. Like every single one of them. And then once you like them, just send them out to all of your friends, each video. It's just a small gesture of showing how much you enjoyed it. And also if you didn't like it, do the same. And while you're doing all of that, also please like this video. And until next time, go out there, stay safe, and make your movie.